him because it wasn't in front of his crease. I don't know what he's supposed to do.
Well,
he didn't get in a fight.
No,
I guess it's the rule, but
and I guess it is, but it because Blaisdell was
happens to be in his own crease
in the action. Yep. Well, so much for all of that. We've had a little bit of everything here in the first quarter. The score at the end of the first quarter: the Albany Attack 4, the Toronto Rock 3.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader. I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not about. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing, diversity, not assimilation, and that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A tooth is a hat, a Chesterfield is a coach, and it is pronounced said, not saying said. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
Taxi! 59th Street video, please? Oh, you gotta get the episode 1 video. Wait till you see the pod racing scene. Young Skywalkers racing for freedom. This is where the video kicks butt. It goes into overdrive. He never stops for anything. Never stops for... Well, you gotta see it for yourselves. From the big screen to your screen. Buy the Star Wars episode 1 video, some Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, 2 or 7-Up, and get $3 back. Oh, joy!
We are back here at Maple Leaf Gardens, where the Albany Attack lead 4-3, and during the break, referee Paul Ravery was busy explaining to the various coaches, and Terry Sanderson getting the explanation now.
And Terry will talk to the referees, make sure he tries to get the edge. If he can, he'll intimidate them. And Albany did get the upper hand on that one. They get a power play out of all of this.
It'll be the third of the game for them. And they have one power play goal in the first quarter. And we're ready to go to start the second quarter. A one-goal game. Blaisdell had 2 assists in the first period. Brought up the floor now by
got 5 veterans on the power play.
Accordingly, with a shot, ball on the carpet, kicked towards the net and scooped up by Watson. This is Pat Coyle getting it ahead. A long pass for Stroop too far. Stroop diving, but was knocked down from behind, and the ball is awarded to the Toronto Rock. Chris Gill went through the goal crease there and took a little shot at Blaisdell. Toll with a shot. Blaisdell with the save. Steve Toll corrals his own rebound. Now to Gill. Gill trying to muscle his way inside. Was too well covered and the ball popped loose. Toronto was hollering for a holding penalty and didn't get it. Now here's a chance for Woods and a save made by Watson. Quickly outlet and Steve Toll will wait for offensive support coming out the front door. Toll trying to work the hidden ball trick. It didn't work. Here's Dean Harrison winding and shooting, and his drive was wide of the net. The rebound is loose in the goal crease area and scooped up there by Bob Blaisdell. Bob Blaisdell has been very good here. The shots on goal favor Albany 16-15, but it's 5-2 attack over the Rock. Rozeski taking it back outside for Cordingley. Cordingley looking for Squire, now gets an avenue. Squire to the net, a shot stopped by Bob Watson. And now another whistle on a play behind the action as Graham took his man down, Squire, and so it's a loose ball and it's turned over to Albany. Long shot over top of the net, ends up on the mesh. Watson outlets quickly, and it's Pat Coyle bringing the ball up the floor. Watson is heading to the bench. Coyle to the far side. A
Big
penalty.
save by Watson earlier on, Joe.
Yep. Penalty coming here to Albany. Harrison mishandles the ball, and as it's touched by the Attack, here's the penalty call from the officials. Too many men on the floor.
Toronto gets a little break here.
Molson Export Rock Lacrosse brought to you in part by Molson Export. Rock this. Second power play opportunity of the game for Toronto. And Albany leads 5-3.
Two of Albany's penalty killers in the penalty box, Darren Muntz and Phil Sanderson.
Colin Doyle. Toronto's going to have to get some offense going here, Brian. They've been guilty of kind of throwing the ball away.
Their power play has not been too effective this year, and that's one of the spots they really want to work on.
Now, Gill outside for Kaleb Toth. He takes a long shot that is handled by Blaisdell. And they'll outlet now on the penalty kill, and this is Brian Beazle. Beazle bringing it in. Trying to kill off some time with a minute 26 to go on the penalty as Cordingley has it now. Dowling leads them in shorthanded goals with 6. The Attack.
Actually, Rob Blaisdell is second in the league with shorthanded assists, only behind Jimmy Veltman.
Now the ball thrown away to waste some time to allow a wholesale change in penalty killers as it quickly brought up for Doyle, and he fired the shot wide. Toth on the far side. Minute to go in the power play. 23 on the shot clock. Doyle, Gill, and Doyle playing catch with it outside. Doyle winds up behind the back to Gill. Inside pass. Did it go in? No. Off the goal.
shots, get his breakaways.
6:21 the time of the goal, and a holding call will give Toronto the loose ball possession, and we'll have that when we return. The Albany Attack leading 5-4.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
I'm a busy person. I don't have a whole lot of spare time in the day. Banking online is incredibly convenient. I log on to AOL Canada, a couple of clicks, and you're there. You don't have to keep banker's hours.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
The Cavalier Coupe now comes with a CD stereo, upgraded wheels, and a new 5-speed Getrag transmission.
Excuse me? Drop your ear.
The Chevrolet Cavalier Coupe 2000 package for 1.9% purchase financing or $188 a month and more features than ever.
I write fiction, I write horror, I edit Northern Fusion magazine. I think AOL Canada makes that very exciting and very easy for me to do without having to have a lot of expertise. I can focus on my craft.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
The Albany defense here today? Yeah, we're working on pretty good. Blaze has come up with some big saves. I think we got to start shooting the ball a little bit better. Big go at it. Thanks for this. This has been a Molson Export. Bench report back upstairs to you, Joe.
Thanks, Paul. 5-4, a tight game here. The Albany Attack leading the Toronto Rock. Veltman doesn't shoot it. Finds Doyle and over the shoulder and went off the goal post.
That was a beautiful play. Nice pick by Doyle.
Now McDonnell with a chance. That is blocked. The ball is on the carpet. Scooped up there by Glenn Clark. Glenn Clark is second on the team in loose balls with 76. Here's Steve Cole. Now to Chris Gill. And the Rock will set up their offense. Toth taking it to the net, being reached over from behind and driven into the goal. And now being sat upon there by Gary Gibson, who pulls the helmet off Cole.
Getting a late shot there.
Blaisdell is slow to get up. And out comes the trainer, Jack Mosier. And is Bob Blaisdell all right? There's going to be a penalty here to Gary Gibson.
I actually didn't think there was much wrong with this. We're going to see. He brings a stick up. I guess, yeah, the free arm hooked around his head. That's what he was calling. But this was probably worse than what happened earlier on. Rob Blaisdell getting up slowly. There you see Rob Blaisdell. He played his first few years in this pro league with the Rock franchise. He's the player of the month last month. He hasn't played, never played too much for the Rock. Go back to Bob Watson, and that was just a case of Bobby got hot, and Rob really never got a chance in there.
So in the expansion draft, he ends up in Albany, and he has been the starter. Derek General has been the backup to him.
Yeah, and I think he's glad to get a chance to prove himself because he kind of feels that he never really got a good chance in Toronto.
Tim Squire's shot was blocked. Now Doyle doesn't shoot it. Harrison outside. Gill shot right on, and a good save made by Blaisdell. Third power play of the game for Toronto, who have not had a power play goal. 5-4 Albany.
can't be too proud when you get a quick-footed guy like Dowling come down. You got to make sure you have some backup. That's part of being a good defender.
Dwyer takes the shot. Doyle loaded it up, and the pass goes inside. Langdale! Chris Langdale on a set play off the power play makes it a 5-5 tie.
That was a very nice play. They've tried this a few times. They play catch. The top guy and the left shooter play catch. They're hoping to turn the back of, I think it was John Rose and Albany. And here you see Langdale sneaks in. Well, they try to get them to cheat over a little bit when Langdale sneaks in. Nice passing play. A timely goal for the power play that was struggling.
Langdale's 7th of the year is second on the power play. And the game is tied at 5. Graham won the face-off, and Toronto has possession again, and they score! Dan Stroop on his way down, bounces it in behind Rob Blaisdell, and for the first time in the game, the Toronto Rock own the lead.
Dan Stroop been a little bit quiet so far, him and Gill, but you can see he's done this many times. Danny likes to get inside and dive as he shoots.
2 goals, 11 seconds apart. Turn the Rock into the leaders for the first time in this game. Fannell, long lead pass into the corner. Gibson.
Nice for the Rock to get the goals from the guys who haven't been scoring many, but they really do count on the guys like Stroop and Gill. That was a big goal for Gill to bring a little momentum on Toronto's side, or big goal for Dan Stroop to bring the momentum to their side.
Mullen doing a nice job there on Ted Dowling, and then gives him some extra attention in front of the net. And the ball goes wide, and Bullen, as the horn goes to signify too much time, but some great defense by Bullen and Coyle. Now a lead pass again. Scores! What a fake, Kaleb Toth, and it's 7-5 Toronto.
Talked about Kaleb in the pregame. He's been getting his 1 or 2 goals every game, and here you see great touch around the net. Nice pass up before he got off the bench early. Watch this fake. You don't see it from that angle, but he had Rob Blaisdell fooled on that first fake, and he ended up putting it into the empty net.
Kaleb Toth with his 15th goal of the season, and the Toronto Rock open up a 2-goal lead. Blaisdell, or at least Bob Watson's got a piece of equipment that has come apart, and so equipment man Tim Large is out there to try to work things out. We're going to take a break here at Maple Leaf Gardens. The Toronto Rock now the leaders, 7-5.
What? Nobody shaves during the playoffs.
It's a Canadian game.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Summertime is baseball time, and time for you to catch the Blue Jays with their 7-game power pack. Get great seats for the best teams. Call 416-341-1234. See Jeter, Alomar, Palmeiro, Garciaparra, Rodriguez, Guerrero, and Piazza. Blue Jays 7-game power pack start as low as $49. Great seats, the best teams, the season's hottest games. Buy your power pack today. Call the Blue Jays fan phone at 416-341-1234.
Kaleb Toth just scored his 15th goal of the season. You're going to see a nice pass by Veltman. Toth comes out the bench. What a nice fake. He really fooled Rob Blaisdell on that first fake. And when you can do that, you just put it into an empty net. He's going to be our halftime guest.
So Kaleb Toth with his 15th of the year. Graham and Veltman with the assists. And Toronto scores 3 goals in 51 seconds as it bounds into the Albany bench. And the Albany players helping out a referee, Dave Berman, there with the direction of the ball. Accordingly, Beazle setting things up outside. Ted Dowling, and you have to keep your eye on him in the absence of Josh Sanderson. Dowling leads the National Lacrosse League in goal scoring this year as a collision on the end boards, and the ball is turned over to Toronto. Bowen trying to get everybody off the front end of the bench, and now starts out with it. Mullen giving it off to Chris Gill. From Coquitlam, British Columbia is Gill. Now Squire reached around from behind. Good play by Phil Sanderson to knock the ball out of the stick, but a holding call is coming here from referee Paul Ravery. Watch this as you see how the officials have to work. This reminds you a little bit of Ray Scapanello in the National Hockey League. Paul Ravery's all over the place, making sure nothing happened there between 2 players. You got to be in shape. There's a scoring play by Kim Squire.
For a power play that's struggling, they just scored 2 quick power play goals in a row. Philip Sanderson's not too happy of being sent to the penalty box.
A big second quarter for Toronto thus far. We talked about this in our last game, Brian, that their second quarters have been their worst.
Exactly. They've had terrible second quarters until last week. And here they're having a big one. And that was just a nice shot to the short side by Kim Squire.
9th of the year for Kim Squire, and his second power play goal of the season.
Toronto's now scored 5 goals in a row after Albany had taken the lead.
Langdale had the other assist. Here's another break for Toronto, but Rory Graham decides to pull it up. Graham waiting for offensive replacements. And Chris Langdale's had a big quarter. Here's Doyle pushing into the front, trying to get the shot away, and sprang out of his stick. Doyle tries to slip it into an empty net, but there'll be nothing there.
Langdale got caught there. He's getting a penalty. This is kind of a field across rule. You can't interfere with a goalie attempting to throw the ball.
And an interference call to Langdale, interference in the crease. And the Albany power play, which has also scored twice in 3 opportunities, goes back to work here. So specialty teams, specifically the power play, have been a key for both teams thus far. Accordingly, outside, pass in, deflected by Watson wide. Good try by Dallas Squire. Now the backhand goes wide. Far side for Roseski. Outside, and the pass inside is gobbled up. Watson gets it handed to him, and now with a long outlet for Pat Coyle. Coyle's got support with Clark. Looks for him, and the pass was behind him, but he gets it back again. And a good save by Blaisdell. Now a long way home for Pat Coyle and Glenn Clark. And an empty net goal was waved off.
Oh, goal.
Bobby Watson got run over, and the referee in this instance, Boston's Dave Berman, says interference, and so it'll be turned over to Toronto. No goal. And Ted Dowling is up limping.
Yeah, and the referee claims that Dowling interfered with Bobby Watson. If not, that would have been one of the easiest goals for Troy Cordingley. Actually, it wasn't Cordingley. But according to the referee, Dowling purposely hit Bob Watson, or didn't try to avoid him.
And Wood scored, but it was waved off. But now Dowling has gone to the bench, and he's limping. They've already lost Josh Sanderson, so a lot of their offense is on the limp. And there's a look at what they have done 37 of the 148 Albany goals before tonight have come from those two players. And Sanderson is gone for the game with a twisted knee, and Dowling doesn't seem to be in much better shape on the bench. You see the time remaining in the power play. Gill diving and rolled over the goal line, but the net was dislodged, and referee Ravery says no goal. It was goaltender's ball. Here's a look at Gill.
See, I think they claim he stepped into the crease before he shot with his right foot.
Accordingly, still on the power play, 36 seconds. Troy Cordingly with the shot. Watson got in front of that, and he outlets for Pat Coyle. Coyle running the ball up the floor with Glenn Clark. Decides to hold off and head to the bench for a well-deserved rest.
Looks like Toronto's adjusted their short man. They don't want to give Darius Kilgore the shot. They started off with the box. Now they were playing a diamond there, taking the shot away from Darius Kilgore.
Glance at the clock by Colin Doyle to see that there are 6 seconds left in the shot clock and about the same amount in the penalty. Squire with the shot on goal, one-handed, and that was stopped by Rob Blaisdell. A couple times that Tim Squire has shortened up and fired it with one hand.
Tim will get it any way he can to the net. More often than not, he finds a way to get it in.
Now a chance inside, blocked by Watson. He gets tangled up with Dallas Squire. And there is some heated exchanges going on here this afternoon at Maple Leaf Gardens. In front of a crowd that looks like it will be in the neighborhood of 15,000.
Well,
Bob Watson with a pretty good cross-check.
that looks like Bob Watson defending himself with a little offense.
This is Darius Kilgore, number 43. He is leveled by Chris Langdale. Outside shot went just wide off the stick of Matt Giles, and back comes Toronto. Lannister quickly to the bench as Coyle brings the ball up the floor. Tried to play it inside, but it was picked off nicely by Ted Dowling, who's back into the game. Or check that, Phil Sanderson who intercepted. Now here's a chance for Cordingly, throwing it over the shoulder. Scooped up by Toronto. Harrison drops it off to his goaltender, and Watson, looking around, decides to give it right back to Dean Harrison. Up the floor it comes with 1:08 to go in the first half. Dean Harrison. Long shot. Oh, he had a good shot away there. Kept alive by Rod Squire. 6 seconds on the shot clock. A quick shot is stopped by Blaisdell. The ball on the carpet. And Cole, trying to make a play, has the whistle go with 47.8 seconds left. Was there a timeout called here?
Toronto
I
called the
believe there
timeout.
was.
Try to get a play here with less than a minute remaining in the half.
26 seconds remain on the shot clock when they resume play. And the Toronto Rock in this second quarter, after trailing 4-3 at the break, have outscored the Albany Attack 5-1 in this second quarter and have scored 5 consecutive goals. Bobby McMahon having a word with the official from long range.
Bob McMahon and Terry Sanderson complement each other very much. They're both smart lacrosse people, but Bob is probably a quiet tactician, where Terry's a yeller and screamer.
You can see the importance of this game. A win by Toronto will assure them of the home floor advantage in the first round of the playoffs. If they get some help, namely in games to be played later this week and next, Pittsburgh, or at least Buffalo, is at Philadelphia, and in the tiebreaker, if Buffalo and Toronto are tied, Buffalo wins it because of their victories. And here are the remaining games on the schedule. So Buffalo has a couple of tough games. Philadelphia can move into a
Barris or Kilgore getting shots on him, but I think with Rob Blaisdell, here's one guy he can't stand shooting on him. Tim Squires always seems to find an opening, and he's got Rob Blaisdell's number.
Second goal of the game, second in a row for Tim Squire, his 10th of the year. The Squire family's had a pretty good hand in this game. Rod has a goal, Kim has two. Dallas for Albany, their cousin has a goal. Kim's been in a fight. It's been quite a first half. So another timeout call, this time by Albany. And Coach Terry Sanderson, as we look at head coach Les Bartley of the Toronto Rock, a 6-0 run this quarter has opened up this 9-5 lead.
And up to that point, Toronto was looking very flat. The power play was struggling.
Veltman and Toll have drawn the assists on Tim Squire's last goal. Let's go quickly downstairs to Paul.
Thank you, Joe. Joined by Glenn Clark. Glenn, what have the adjustments been to have opened it up here for you in the second quarter?
We're trying to do a better job not letting them go underneath or on their offense defensively. We're getting lots of help from the offside on the ball, and it's making a difference. We're shutting down. We're not giving them any easy shots inside.
Forwards getting back and playing tough defensively as well.
Yeah, they're allowing us to get out and meet the men rather than chasing them. It makes a big difference.
Thank you, Glenn. This has been a Molson Export Bench Report. Back up to you, Joe.
Paul Hendrick right into the game, as he normally is. Toronto with the ball and a chance to add to the lead in the final 20 seconds here of the first half. Veltman, they've got a planned play that they want to run, but they're just waiting to get the clock run down to start it, and now they do. Tim Squire back inside for Doyle, and he got flattened on a good hit there by Bill Sanderson.
And at this stage in the game, with the way Toronto's played, it was more important that they eat up most of the clock. It's always good to score a late goal, but they got their late goal, so now they just want to make sure that Albany doesn't have much time to set up a play.
Another timeout call, this time by Albany.
See a nice hit by Phil Sanderson. Beautiful, takes the body, nice clean hit on Colin Doyle. Phil Sanderson is another Sanderson of the Orangeville clan. He's Terry Sanderson's nephew, Lindsay's son. We've got a huge contingent of Orangeville people here for a small town that produced a lot of great lacrosse players, and a lot of that started with Terry Sanderson, who moved up there, started an organization in 1978.
You played up there, didn't you?
I played up there. We've got a couple guys in the Toronto Rock, Pat Coyle, Ken Millen, Dean Harrison. Here you see
Canada's other team, you're right.
That's right. 17 from Ontario, 5 from Orangeville. And that's not including other Orangeville grads, including myself, coaches, referees.
Yeah, Czech Couture was there too.
Bill Fox.
Officiates a lot here. Bill Fox, who is working the game here this afternoon. So that is the end of the first half. Let's go downstairs. Paul is standing by with Terry Sanderson.
Well, Coach Sanderson, a pretty tough second quarter for you people. Injuries have been a factor as well. Perhaps you can update us on Josh Sanderson.
Well, our trainer said it was a torn MCL. How they could tell that, I'm not sure, but he's definitely done. Teddy Dowling went over in his, but that's part of the game too. We're not making things easy on ourselves by turning the ball over up top and taking a couple of unnecessary penalties. But we still got a half to go, so we're going to be coming back at them.
Has the Rock size been a physical advantage for them in opening things up here in the latter part of this first half?
No, I don't think so. We've played against them and before, and there's other teams in the league that are big as well. And we don't seem to have a problem with the size. We just try to work through it.
Thank you, Terry. Good luck the rest of the way. Terry Sanderson, head coach of the Albany Attack, but the Attack trailing by 4. The Toronto Rock on top, 9-5 at halftime.
The four-door Cavalier now comes with air conditioning, ABS, and 4-speed automatic. With enhanced traction control. The Chevrolet Cavalier
cool because the three of us can go into one chat room and talk together. It's better than the phone.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Log on to the hottest sports website in Canada, ctvsportsnet.com. It's TV on demand with full streaming video of Sports Central, the Hensy Awards, the hockey news, and ice time. Daily columns from some of the most respected sports journalists in Canada. Plus, all the breaking news, scores, and stats. So when you log on for sports information, there's only one place to go, ctvsportsnet.com.
And welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, where the score at halftime is the Toronto Rock at 9, the visiting Albany Attack at 5. It's time now for the Chevy Truck halftime report. Chevy Trucks, like a rock. A pleasure to welcome to our studios the pride of Calgary, Alberta, Kaleb Toth. Kaleb, a big goal in that first half for you. But let's talk about your birthplace, that being Calgary, not known as a hotbed for lacrosse. How did you emerge from the ranks there to do as well as you've done?
Well, in Canada, or in Calgary, we put on a tournament called the Canada Day Tournament, and we had teams from BC and Ontario and pretty much all over the world come out. And when I was about 13, I was playing in it, and two coaches from Burnaby on the coach's junior team were out there, and they were recruiting guys, and they asked me if I wanted to come down. So I came down when I was about 18. I went down there and played 2 years of junior out in Burnaby, and then got drafted by Victoria and played last year in Victoria, and then that's how I got into this.
What of the game of lacrosse appealed to you the most when you were starting out?
Pretty much the speed and the quickness. You know, it wasn't too rough when I was little, but it's getting rougher now, which is good. You know, you always like to get involved in the rough stuff, but it was pretty much the speed and the quickness and just the fancy moves, like watching guys like Gary and Paul Gate. You know, the amazing moves they do with their stick. It's pretty unreal, pretty exciting.
This has been a tremendous game so far. A bit of a slow start for the Toronto Rock, but you guys have been used to that on home floor so far. But the fast break started going. Their defense was opened up. You spread it out, and finally a goal for you, and it was a spectacular one.
Yeah, I had a couple shots right there in the first period on the power play. Hit the post there, which was a little disappointing. But then I got my goal here, just coming off the bench. You know, we're working hard, run to the bench a lot, so really quick. And I luckily got a breakaway, and I buried it.
Essential heading into that second half as well is to maintain the intensity and no letdown whatsoever in the third quarter, and perhaps put these guys away.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys that can score. You know, Josh Anderson looked like he went out there in the first shift and hurt his knee, but they got a lot of guys that can score goals, so we got to play tough D and keep pushing them.
Kaleb Toth, thanks very much for this 15 goals in your rookie season. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much, and I'd just like to say a special hi to my grandma who's not feeling too well. I hope you get better, Grandma Cookie.
All right, well said. The score at halftime, Toronto 9, Albany 5. We'll be back with more from Maple Leaf Gardens in a moment.
If you're looking for horsepower, look at Chevy Silverado, because Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup. More powerful than Dodge, more powerful than Ford, 300 horsepower. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
I'm a busy person. I don't have a whole lot of spare time in the day. Banking online is incredibly convenient. I log on to AOL Canada, a couple of clicks, and you're there. You don't have to keep banker's hours.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
I write fiction, I write horror, I edit Northern Fusion magazine. I think AOL Canada makes that very exciting and very easy for me to do without having to have a lot of expertise. I can focus on my craft.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
6 unanswered goals have the Toronto Rock riding high on a wave of emotion and a 9-5 lead at halftime. Welcome back. We're live inside the Toronto Rock dressing room with their captain, Jim Veltman. And key words here not only from you but from everyone else to keep the momentum going and not celebrate too soon.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's 30 minutes to play, and we got a team that we're playing out there that can turn this game around fast. So we realize what we have to do, and we're just going to have to stick with our game plan the way it's been going so far.
Jim, the Attack are not a big team, but certainly they like to match up to you people physically. They give it their best.
Oh yeah, they're a physical team, no doubt about it. But we're physical as well, and you got 2 physical teams out there, and now it's just about who wants the game the most right now.
In the second quarter was indicative that the inside at least was opening up for you people. The wingers are doing their jobs. You guys are getting the ball quickly up floor, and I guess you're going to hopefully attack again up the middle as well and exploit Robbie Blaisdell in that fashion.
Exactly, and I mean a lot of teams try to beat us that way with transition, but we're a transition team too, so it'll be an interesting halftime.
Thanks, Scoop. Best of luck in the second half. Jim Veltman, captain of the Toronto Rock. Let's send it upstairs to Joe and Brian.
Thanks very much, Paul. Well, it was an interesting first half, that is to be sure. We had a little bit of everything. The Toronto Rock got some offense from some unlikely sources early on. Terry Bullen, who almost needed a map to find the other end of the floor, did so right here.
And this was a great pass. You see, it was a backhand pass by Steve Toll, and Bullen went back to his junior years 15 years ago. Now we're going to see another nice goal by Troy Cordingley, and this is a nice pick and roll. You see Troy throws a little pick. Actually, it was almost a fake pick. Fooled them both, went to the net, and it was a nice pass by Dowling there.
And Dan Stroop, as the Rock started to get some of their offensive players into the mix later on in the second period.
Yeah, Stroop scores like he has so many, dive into the net, and that was Toronto's first lead of the game, and they haven't looked back since then.
That made it 6-5, and the Rock have gone on to a 9-5 advantage. And this afternoon's broadcast brought to you in part by AOL Canada. New pricing on limited use. Stay on as long as you want. And we'll be back with the second half of this afternoon's game as the Rock lead the Attack 9-5.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation. And that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. The tooth is a hat. A Chesterfield is a coat. And it is pronounced said, not Z. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
As a new mom, I don't have time to shower, let alone go to the bank. It's nice to have the option to do your banking online with AOL Canada, and it makes life a lot easier.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
If you think all ATVs are created equal, you've never ridden a Yamaha. The new Kodiak 400 Automatic and Big Bear 400 from Yamaha. Because out here,
three of us can go into one chat room and talk together. It's better than the phone.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
We are back at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto as the Toronto Rock lead the Albany Attack 9-5 and have 30 minutes with which to do to try to keep this game intact and hang on to a home floor advantage in the first round. As we take a look at the first half stats, particularly the shots on goal, which favored Albany 15-11 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, Toronto really turned that around in the second quarter because everywhere else both teams are basically even, but 22-7 Toronto shot from the second quarter, and that is a huge stat in their favor. Considering Toronto gets the fewest shots in the league, Albany's up near the top with the second most shots in the league, so that's a great turnaround for Toronto. Albany's really missing Josh Sanderson, and if Dowling is hurt very seriously, that'll be a big blow too.
He is out there as we take a look at the other games that will be played tonight. Rochester at New York, but Buffalo at Philadelphia is the big matchup that the Toronto Rock are interested in. Syracuse has not won a game this year, and Toronto finishes the regular season next week in Syracuse. So a Philadelphia win, as you would see, to push them 7-4, dropping Buffalo to 7-4. If the Rock win this afternoon to go 8-3, it would virtually assure them a home floor advantage throughout the playoffs. And that is a huge advantage, as we've shown you in this building. The Toronto Rock are 12-1. Here is the attack on the attack, but Veltman intercepts and now plays it back and gets a change of players going here. Both teams at full and even strength to start the second half. Jim Veltman dropping it off as Toll works the offense. Tim Squire, who scored twice back-to-back, had that blocked. And here's Cam Woods in a foot race with Chris Langdale. Woods decides to hold it up and will get the Albany Attack organized offensively. Dropping it off for Ted Dowling, so that is good news for Albany.
We got a delayed penalty here.
Shot off the side of the net. A delayed penalty call against Toronto. Roziski. Far side now for Kilgore, and the shot bounds wide. It's in the goal crease. It's touched by Toronto, and here is the call. Many men? I believe it is. It was a fast change out the back door to make sure. Too many men, Toronto. And that's exactly what it was.
Good call, Joe.
Cam Woods looked like he had a breakaway, but all of a sudden there were a lot of people there.
I was wondering how Toronto recovered so well on that play.
Watch this. The shot by Squire is blocked. Now Woods is away to the races. And then all of a sudden, as he reaches the back door, hello.
That's right.
So this is a power play, the fifth of the game for Albany. And a good save made by Watson with traffic in there. Dallas Squire stepping into the crease, but no collision. Brought back by Toronto.
Now, as far as that penalty goes, Joe, Toronto wouldn't be doing their job if they were not pushing for as far as they can to cheat. That's one of the things you want to do on both doors. Cheat as much as you can, find out what you can and can't get away with. And the Nets just found out what they can't
get away with. Right. Now at least the yardstick has been put down on the floor, and you know how far you have to be to the door before you can exit out the other entranceway. And now here's Clark intercepting an errant pass. 1:10 left to go in the penalty. There has not been a shorthanded goal scored here this afternoon.
Yeah, and these two teams are pretty good at scoring shorthanded goals too.
Veltman, Chris Gill, and Doyle are up front. Toll working with Veltman. Toll pass blocked, then got it away as it bounced right back into his stick. Has it again. Can't find Gill, and that's the end of the shot clock time. And so it'll be turned over to Albany with 43 seconds left to go in the power play. A huge second period, and now a ball stolen by Toll. Steve Toll with some quick hands as he stole the ball, similar to what he did against Pittsburgh last left now in the penalty. Langdale with a chance to take it to the net. Nice pass inside and a great save by Blaisdell on Colin Doyle. Doyle gave him the fake, but he didn't go for it, and he stood up, made the save, and a big save it was. Gibson back the other way for Albany. Toronto native, 23 years of age, and he sends that shot wide. Another shot then taken by Ted Dowling, and a good save by Watson. Doyle now to Kim Squire. He is in a Lone Ranger rush here as he waits for teammates to arrive and then heads to the bench. Toth. Band on it, lost the ball, turned over, but a penalty was coming to Albany. And so it will be the Rock who will go to the power play, their 5th of the game. And let's see what the call is and who it's going to. So far, Coach Terry Sanderson, no idea. Molson Export Rock Lacrosse brought to you in part by Molson Export. Rock this, and by Chevy Trucks, like a rock. And now both benches know how far you can go with the change. Too many men on the floor for Albany.
And in that case, I don't think it was in case somebody leaving early. I think it was just a bad count.
Squire and Doyle. Doyle loses the ball. Langdale spins his man around, and it will go to Albany.
Langdale slowed him down just enough to stop the breakaway and not get a penalty on the call.
Rosa has the ball as Albany works the hidden ball trick a little bit. Now to Ted Dowling. Dowling on the far side. I didn't think he was going to be back. He looked like he was in a lot of pain after going over on that ankle, but they must have got it iced down enough. Dowling's back in the game.
He doesn't look 100%, and he's taped up a bit on the leg, and I don't know if that was there earlier on.
Ted Dowling from Mississauga. Team All-Pro in '95 with the Detroit Turbos.
Ted Dowling and Darius Kilgore are the guys they got in that trade for first draft choice. It's going to have to be John Grant.
Now a pass outside. Squire loads it up, and a good save made by Blaisdell. Squire, when he shoots, almost gives you the sidearm motion there a little bit. Changes the angle very nicely, and it's given Blaisdell a lot of difficulty. This is John Rosa. The University of Windsor, a former Windsor Lancer, and now it is
John
Gary
Rosa
Rozeski.
Just had a baby a few weeks ago. Young Jacob is at home watching the game in Windsor.
Loose into the slot, not enough time, and too much time taken actually, as a lead pass for Toth, and a shot scores! Bob Watson with a nice speed, and Kaleb Toth takes it the rest of the way, and Toronto have scored 7 in a row.
And I don't think Rob Blaisdell thought that Toth was going to catch this. You see when he got it, Blaisdell is actually out of the net. You're going to see on the big bounce, Blazer's kind of out of the net. Looks like he misplayed that a little bit. A nice pass by Bob Watson, a big assist by Bob Watson on that. Making a save and throwing it up the floor.
Watson gets into the scoring action as Toth makes it 10-5 with his second goal of the game and his 16th of the year. So a big run here that has just really torn into the Albany Attack as Toronto has scored 7 straight goals. Accordingly, couldn't get it through, or Dowling couldn't get it through. And here's Steve Cole trying to take it the distance, and does with a shot that is stopped by Blaisdell. Steve Cole, a 6th-round pick from Niagara Falls Gamblers in 1998. He is studying to be a firefighter, and he looks like he could get to the fire in rather quick order.
Yeah, Steve Cole is probably the fastest guy on the team, one of the faster guys in the league.
Harrison, now to Dan Stroop. Stroop with a shot, good save by Blaisdell. Rod Squire with the ball,
but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
YZF-R series. No compromise. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
10-5 Toronto. Shot scores over the shoulder of Watson, and that ends a streak of 7 consecutive goals as Gary Rozeski makes it 10-6.
That's a nice shot by Rozeski. Here you see Dowling takes the first shot. He picks up the rebound. If John Grant wasn't in the league, we would have a nice battle for Rookie of the Year between Gary Rozeski and Kaleb Toth. He scores his 16th, I think.
I believe you are right. Yep. He has 2 tonight, so he has 17.
They're having a nice little battle. If you could take John Grant out of the equation.
Well, he has had a marvelous opening year, too, hasn't he? Graham. Accordingly, and Dowling assists on the goal, and it ends, as we mentioned, a run of 7 for Toronto.
Nobody shaves during the playoffs.
It's a Canadian game.
Taxi! Taxi! 59th Street video lease? Oh, you gotta get the episode 1 video. Wait till you see the pod racing scene. Young Skywalkers racing for freedom. This is where the video gets fucked. It goes into overdrive. He never stops for anything. Never stops for... Well, you gotta see it for yourselves. From the big screen to your screen. Buy the Star Wars episode 1 video, some Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, 2 or 7-Up, and get $3 back. Oh, joy!
Resistant barbarians, overpowered savages, thwarted the uncivilized. And that was just on the drive to work. Chevy Blazer. Steel-reinforced double-wall doors, powerful Vortec engine. A little security in an insecure world. Chevy Blazer, like a rock.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on CTV Sportsnet. Game day, every day.
And welcome back. It's not often that Chris Gill is kept off the scoreboard, but they're dominating you and opening up the other side. As a result, 8 other men have scored here this afternoon.
Yeah, we got 3 or 4 guys, I think, who got their first goals tonight. And, that's what a balanced offense needs. They're shutting off, Stroopy and myself and Dorley. And, it's great if we get these other guys popping goals, and that's what we need to win championships.
Well, you do. It's only a matter of time. This has been a Molson Export Bench Report. Back upstairs to you, Joe.
Paul, either start coaching or get out of the way, will you? He's right down in the middle of things down there. I'm not sure he has his coaching certification anyway. Here's Glenn Clark bringing the ball back over the timeline for Toronto and then heading to the bench as he'll drop it off. Kaleb Toth. Now to Dean Harrison. Dan Stroop. He has one. There's the shot. Stopped by Blaisdell, who made a nice play. And back come the Albany Attack. Sanderson. Got it inside here for Cordingley. Troy Cordingley turns it over. And Paddy Coyle, who had such a strong defensive effort last week against the Gate brothers and has played well here this afternoon as well, brings the ball back up for Toronto. Veltman. Squire. Tim Squire. One hand in front. Nice play and a backhand then by Doyle. Goes wide as he gets tangled up in the goal crease area. Tim Squire and Colin Doyle work that give and go with each other effectively.
And they're getting better and better. This is only Tim's second game back, but he's right into it. He's still not in game shape.
Well, after that,
it's almost scary to think what he'd be like.
Here's Doyle again. Scores! And just what we talked about. Tim Squire with a nifty feed for Doyle and through the crease and in the air. He gets it in behind Rob Blaisdell.
And that's their game, these two. Isolate them, give them some room. They're both so good around the net. And they're both able to pull 2 guys at them. It's a nice pick and then go to the net. See, he does the switch. That's what the objective is when on a pick and roll. You want to force the offense to switch, then you're closer to the net when you're throwing a pick from down low. And that's perfect. And now that they have Tim Squire back, that's definitely helping Colin Doyle's game.
13th goal of the season for Doyle. It's like anything else. Any team, if you have 2 guys that are on the same page that have a great... Here's Stroop.
Whoa!
Nice play over the shoulder and it went just wide. If you've got 2 guys that are on the same page that work well together, they feed off one another.
Exactly.
From behind, Stroop knocking the ball away from Canal. Graham turns. Rory Graham bringing it back up the floor with 2:48 left to play here in the 3rd period. Toronto 11, Albany 6.
And earlier in the season, Joe, we were talking about Chris Gill and Dan Stroop were scoring about 50% of the team's goals. And here we've got 11 goals, and they've only got 1 between. I know they'd like to have a few more goals today, but it's great for the team to be getting that balance. They were getting 50% of the goals almost every game.
We got another scrum over in front of the Albany bench. Kaleb Toth and Chris Gill shoving in there as Gill got flattened on the way back towards the Toronto bench. And again, we had a chippy first half that included a fight between Darren Much and Tim Squire. And here's another look at some of the action that we were talking about. And here's where Gill took exception to it as they think he got stepped on, and down he went.
That's right. That's what started it. The little business in front of the bench there.
Roughing minors and roughing and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties from referee Ravery, and so it is a wash in the penalty department, and they're back to playing 5-on-5. This afternoon's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations, and by Midas, car care the way it should be. Now, wait a minute. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as well has been handed out to... Now, they're still trying to sort this out. Yes, Kaleb Toth gets the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as well as the roughing, and so Albany is going to be on the power play. And for the Attack, it is their 6th of the game. They have 2 power play goals of the 6 that they have scored. A rather low-scoring game in Albany, 8-7. And Toronto's offense was shut right down, the fewest goals that they've scored.
Yeah, and
Blaisdell was outstanding, but their offense really never got in sync.
Their offense was sputtering for a while there. They weren't disappointed in the defense, obviously, but Albany scored 5 power play goals, I came to.
So here we go again. Pass inside and quickly the power play works. Dallas Squire scores for Albany, and it's 11-7.
That might as well be a replay of Dallas Squire's earlier goal. He just got in behind the defense. He's just taking advantage of the way Toronto's playing their short man. Toronto kind of giving it to him, so he's stepping in saying, I'll take it. And he's got the ball in the ground so quickly. There's no real weak spots on the Albany power play. Like, last week Toronto forced Hubbard to get the shot away, and Hubbard couldn't do it. But I don't see any weak spots on this Albany. Take one spot away, somebody else is going to hurt you.
Now here's a chance for Gibson, stopped by Watson. The game is so much a momentum swing, and a lot of things can change that momentum. But right now, Albany trying to get some streak scoring of their own going here.
We've seen it before. I mean, Toronto seems to be in control, but just 2 quick goals will change the complexion of this game.
Chris Langdale. Isolated on the left side. Toll goes to the far side to Kim Squire. Colin Doyle has it knocked off his stick, and tackled behind the play was Veltman. Racing to the net is Sanderson, but the ball's going to come back. Veltman trying to get back into the defense was taken down. Accordingly, and Kilgore assist on that goal by...
Let's see if there's any acting. He got a hold of his sweater, and Jim Veltman made sure that the referee was going to see it.
That pass bounces into the Rock bench, and they'll quickly change again. Kim Squire brings it up quickly for Toronto. Lets Chris Langdale organize. Burlington native on the near side. Gets a pick from Stroop. Pass went astray, but grabbed off by Veltman, but not before time runs out to end the third quarter. Dan Stroop with a nice move as he heads to the net. And Toronto leads 11-7.
I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not about. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation, and that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A tooth is a hat, a Chesterfield is a coach, and it is pronounced Z, not Z. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
I'm a busy person. I don't have a whole lot of spare time in the day. Banking online is incredibly convenient. I log on to AOL Canada, a couple of clicks, and you're there. You don't have to keep banker's hours.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
I write horror. I edit Northern Fusion magazine. I think AOL Canada makes that very exciting and very easy for me to do without having to have a lot of expertise. I can focus on my craft.
With all new pricing, including unlimited use, you can stay online as long as you want.
Pat Coyle, the battle cry for you is to maintain intensity in the final quarter and simply put, play Toronto Rock lacrosse. Play physical.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we got a bit out of our game there the third quarter, and the score sort of tells. You know, this fourth quarter, we got to focus and just work hard, man, and we can finish these guys off.
You're there. Good luck. Thank you. Joe, this has been another Molson Export Bench Report.
Pat Coyle last year set a team record with 48 penalty minutes, the fifth highest in league history. If you go through Pat Coyle's area, you are going to be forced to pay a price. Sometimes it's not a very nice price to pay.
And you know, he's one of the most valuable players on the team. And I tell you, if teams can be intimidated, and not that many, you know, some of the teams can't be, but there are teams that are very scared of him. They're young guys, they've heard of him, and they don't want to go near him. You watch offensive guys, they'll go down there and they'll try to pick the guy who's going to cover them. And you see that happen. They're going to try to stay away from him.
Well, Pat Coyle is a 30 years of age. He's 5'11" and 210. Lives in Port Moody, British Columbia. Grew up in Toronto.
He actually was born in Toronto, but he grew up in Orangeville. He's another of this Orangeville contingent, and the Orangeville Northmen are actually having a reunion this summer, and if anyone's interested in finding out about that, it's in June. Get a hold of Sanderson Sports in Orangeville.
There's a long outside shot, and it scores! Dan Stroop on a fairly innocent-looking shot to make it 12-7. I think Rob Blaisdell would like to have that one back.
Yeah, I think Rob Blaisdell is starting to get a little shell-shocked. The defense isn't quite there for Albany. Nice outside shot.
25th of the year for Dan Stroop to start this fourth quarter, and it is 12-7 Toronto. Graham bringing it up the floor slowly, and now gets across Blaisdell, they're saying, because it's a fresh 30 on the shot clock. Gill and Stroop exchanging the ball. Harrison out there, and Rod Squire took a quick shot off that pass, and it bounds into the Toronto bench area. 13 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the fourth period, and Toronto leads 12-7. Darius Kilgore, after the one power play, he has been very quiet. Beazle inside, that was stopped by Watson. Ball on the carpet, Ladouceur took one look at it. Now it's still down there. The scrum is on, and here's Pat Coyle with it again.
It's a big loose ball by Pat Coyle. I think Ladouceur, sometimes you get used to Jim Veltman up there scooping up the ball. Big guys like Laddie just knock guys down.
Clear bodies and let Veltman get this.
That's what they're told to do, too. Let the finesse guy, let Veltman scoop in there and pick it up.
Pass inside. Cole, Veltman behind the back, and Doyle trying to look for Squire, had to go over his head. Turnover sends Albany to the offense. Doyle ran into a couple of his own players coming out of the door, and the shot bounds wide of Watson. Into the corner. Veltman with a hit. Controlled by Beazle. Brian Beazle is surrounded. The ball on the carpet. There's Ladouceur running into Gibson, and Watson's pass was blocked, and there's a penalty coming here to the Albany Attack. Similar play that we saw in the first half when the Albany goaltender Blaisdell was interfered with as he tried to throw it up the floor. This time Watson was interfered with, and going to the penalty box is Gary Rozeski.
Yeah, we're going to see it here, Joe. I think you're right. We're going to see the same thing when you throw that ball. This is a field across rule. You can't interfere. You can't even touch the goalie's stick on the follow through. Personally, I don't like that rule. You know, because in Fox across channel, you could try to intercept it. You just couldn't reach in and touch the goalie. Now
Sixth power play of the game for Toronto.
that power play has really picked up.
Doyle thought about shooting. Toth did. Rebound, bounds. It's still in the goal crease and is kicked back to goaltender Rob Blaisdell. Heads up play there by Phil Sanderson, number 18. Fennell. We'll head to the bench, and Gibson is on the penalty kill, and Albany's got to go to the attack here, even though they're a man short. Trailing 12-7. And the shot didn't make it through, and a quick turnover, and look at this. A foot race here, and Toll still into the attack. Clark shoots, scores! Glenn Clark with the speed of Steve Toll right there forced Albany into a quick decision they didn't want to have to make.
Albany made a slow change here, and at first it looked like it was going to be Toll. You're going to see it right from here. The ball hit Ladouceur in the back when Toll took off. So it looked like he might have a breakaway, but I think John Rosa came out to turn it into a 2-on-1. Nice finish by Glenn Clark. He's shown a nice touch around the net this year.
7th of the year for Clark, his second power play goal of the season, and the Toronto Rock score their third power play goal in 6 tries. And it is 13-7. Fennell scores, and it is quickly 13-8. Steve Fennell.
Well, Toronto doesn't want to get into his trading goals now. They've got to eat the clock for the rest of the game. Albany's definitely on a low with their injuries. They're not having one of their better games, but Steve Fennell is trying to put a bit of life into them. And here's Steve Fennell's another guy who's more of a defensive player. He's actually a good all-around player, but his strong suit is defense.
Fennell with his 6th of the year, first of the game, and 2 goals, 13 seconds apart. Are a trade-off of the Toronto power play goal. Toth 2:23 to go in the fourth period. Toronto 13, Albany 8.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
Summertime is baseball time, and time for you to catch the Blue Jays with their 7-game power pack. Get great seats for the best teams. Call 416-341-1234. See Jeter, Alomar, Palmeiro, Garciaparra, Rodriguez, Guerrero, and Piazza. Blue Jays 7-game power pack start as low as $49. Great seats, the best teams, the season's hottest games. Buy your power pack today. Call the Blue Jays fan phone at 416-341-1234.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
The hit of the game is brought to you by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. Terry Bullen dishes out a lot of hits. This time, he took a pretty good one, as he got filled in there by Gary Rozeski. Scarborough native scored the first goal in Albany Attack franchise history against Philadelphia.
I'm sure Terry gave him a few hits this game, so it was only fair that he got Terry back to beat once.
Ladouceur is in the penalty box. And so, another power play here for Albany. This is their 7th. Watson down, and he's got the ball underneath them. And it is pinned there. And quickly sent ahead, and penalty killing is Pat Coyle. Loose balls, you can see, have been a big factor in Toronto's success thus far. And that has been the story of this team over its last 2 years. Balls on the floor, and the chances are they're going to come up with it.
Build a team around a guy like Jim Veltman, and that's going to be one of your strong points.
Squire tried to pound that in on the short side, but it went wide. And 50 seconds remaining in the period.
There you see Jimmy Veltman, 500 loose balls, just playing with his franchise alone. That's unbelievable. 300 better than the next best Rock guys, and they got a few guys in there. Rod Squires missed many games this year, and Glenn Clark is having a great season on loose balls this season.
Over his career, Jim Veltman started today with 1,059 career loose balls. So he has made a career out of a very important facet of this game, and that is turning the ball over and making sure you own it. And he has it here now. Making sure he didn't go across the timeline there was Steve Tola, had to tippy-toe to the center line. Doyle now, 11 seconds of the penalty to kill, but it's going to be a little more difficult while lying on the carpet. Brought back by Gibson. Foot race here that Langdale forces off. Now inside, shot stopped by Watson. He gets his stick on it, and apparently in time. Yes, the official says the goaltender had control, and so it will be Toronto ball. This afternoon's Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations, and by Chevy Trucks, like a rock. 7:09 left to play, fourth period. Albany trails by 5, and a big second quarter was the difference as Dan Stroop fires in the 14th goal of the afternoon for his hat.
Dan Stroop started the game very quietly. He's now got his third goal, 2 of the last 3 Rock goals. He's been hot this quarter. Similar to his last one, an outside shot. Usually we see Dan scoring an inside.
the Rock are running away with this one. It's 15-8.
Nice face-off win by Graham there. Veltman scoops it up. Nice goal.
Pat Coyle with just his second. So some of the guys who do the grunt work in behind. And now Bob Watson is being relieved. And into the game is backup goaltender Pat Campbell. Is this sort of like Red Auerbach lighting up the cigar?
No, I think that's just to make sure that give Bobby Watson a rest now. But I'm surprised we haven't seen Blaisdell coming out and maybe a mercy pull at this point.
15-8 the score with 6:55 left to go. And we saw early on, Pat Campbell is one of the best at outletting and working the ball himself. He is terrific at making the long pass.
And you know what? I spoke to Les Bartley after one of the last Rock games, and he says he wants to get Pat Campbell in whenever he gets a chance. So here's a chance to get him in with a big lead.
Shot scores! Colin Doyle, and the road is on. Let's go downstairs. Paul Hendrick, you've got a special guest.
Bob Watson, not often you get taken out of the game, much better this time around, but the team has really taken control here in the second half.
Absolutely. We started off a little slow, and the team's really picked it up here. Our offense has really picked up. We're taking it to them right now. Hopefully we continue it, and big 2 points for us right here tonight.
Your game has really come around in the latter half of the season. It seemed you struggled a little bit, especially between the 5-hole, but you've shut that off from the latter part on.
It's a difficult game. My guys give me a lot of chances when I'm suffering a little bit. They give me the chance to catch my wind, and they did it tonight. And we're ahead. What can we say?
Major reason why the Rock may be en route to first place. Flipper Bob Watson. That's been a Molson Export bench report.
Thanks, Paul.
Now did Paul say that he was struggling today? Now that didn't come from us, did it?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No, that was Paul's own idea. Coach Hendrick.
Let's set the record straight.
That's right. I think Bob Watson's played pretty well.
That's right.
He's faced 39 shots. The Rock have had 53 at Rob Blaisdell, but it's a little different than the first time these two teams met down in Albany. The Toronto Rock offense has been going terrific, and certainly Watson has earned the rest. Pat Campbell's earned the opportunity to get a chance to play a little bit.
And that's even more of it. They want to give him a chance to play. He's earned it. He works hard at practice.
Good save there by Campbell, and he sits down on the rebound.
I'll tell you, Patty Campbell is pumped every time he gets a net. You watch, he'll try to get into this offense. Watch where he doesn't stand inside his crease when Toronto has the ball.
Patty Campbell is a Burlington native, student at Brock University. He led Brock to 2 OUAA field lacrosse titles in 1996 and 97. 22 years of age, as we mentioned, 6'1", 190.
Pat is quite a character in the dressing room. He's not shy.
No, that's for sure. He's a hard worker.
Well liked by his
animated.
teammates and very animated.
Very animated. Sanderson bringing it up now for Albany. The Toronto Rock with 5:23 to go. And the shot goes wide. Rebound for Cordingley. Shot wide again. Smothered by Ladouceur. Ladouceur dishes off to Dean Harrison. An important aspect of this, if this lead stands up, the Rock have announced that they will leave this building to go to the Air Canada Centre. So this potentially, at the beginning of the game, with an Albany win, could have been the last event to be held here at Maple Leaf Gardens as far as professional sports is concerned. And we've got a penalty coming here as Squire is taken down, and a referee, Paul Ravery, will make the call. We have a break in the action, and the Toronto Rock have doubled up the Albany Attack.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
especially the ladies.
More powerful than Ford and Dodge. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
Well, guess that's enough for today.
The AOL Turning Point is brought to you by AOL. New pricing, unlimited use. Stay on as long as you want.
This was Dan Stroop's first goal of the game. A nice diving shot. And that was Toronto's first lead in the game to give them a 6-5 lead. And never looked back.
Have never looked back from that. It was part of a 7-0 run that they enjoyed to open a big lead before the first half was over. Nice pass. Harrison scores! Oh my! What a great play! And Dean Harrison has his second. What a nice pass from Gill.
That was a beautiful pass by Chris Gill, over the shoulder pass. You're gonna see Kim Squires, nice pass, but what a move there.
And just outside the line before he left his feet to make it a legal goal. And Dean Harrison, second of the game, second of the season. And the big fella who works in Guelph, 3 Minto Cups with Orangeville, Dean Harrison, 6'1", 195. He won a Man Cup championship with the Brampton Excelsiors. And he's had a tough couple of weeks, and it's nice to see that.
And he's probably earning himself some more floor time with this performance today.
Clark, 4-10. That was another power play goal for Toronto, and that is their fourth of the game. This is what is probable and quite possible as far as our television schedule for future Rock games. The first one now pretty much assured. The semifinals will be at either 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 22nd. Tonight's game in Philadelphia will serve to be a very large part on whether the second possibility will come through for the Toronto Rock, whether they would be able to host the championship game if in fact they were able to win the semifinal. But when you go 12-1 on this carpet, you know that the Toronto Rock are very much looking forward to home floor advantage throughout, and a shot is stopped by Blaisdell.
And after going through a mid-season funk, Joe, they've been playing fantastic. Their record quite likely will be the same as it was last year when they took first place.
And they look back to the game in Albany and suggest that that was a turning point. And I think everybody looked in the mirror and said, we're a lot better than this. We've got to start playing the way we're capable of.
Yeah, and it sure helps getting Kim Squires back and getting some more balanced scoring.
2:50 remaining to be played. Squire outside, and the shot went wide by Chris Langdale. This is Gibson getting it off. Bill Sanderson. There's no question that Terry Sanderson's team had a huge blow delivered to it on the very first couple of minutes of this game when Josh Sanderson went down with a sprained knee and apparently a torn ACL. And so the Orangeville native really, and their leading point getter, has been sorely missed here this afternoon. Toronto Rock broadcast brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations, and by Chevy Trucks, like a rock. While in Toronto, why not stay at the Best Western Primrose Hotel downtown, where the Rock and Friends are always on hand after the game. The Primrose downtown here in Toronto. Penalty here and a chance. Campbell has not been scored on. Accordingly, 2:10 left to play. Kilgore, good hit there by Pat Coyle.
Solid hit.
Kilgore with it again, and it's intercepted by Steve Cole. And Cole is in another foot race. Grabbed onto, held in, and tries to elude a hit from Darren Much. Clark will try to kill off some more time. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Rod Squire has the ball. Harrison gets it back again, spreading out the defense of the Albany Attack, and then just rolls the ball into the corner to try and get some penalty. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Rory Graham. Whoa, took a pretty good hit there and was taken down. And the ball turns over to Albany again. This time it's wide of the net, but controlled here by Troy Cordingley. Less than a minute to go, fourth quarter. Cordingley. This is Dallas Squire, and that shot goes bounding into the crowd.
Troy Cordingley. Troy Cordingley's a kindergarten teacher in Fort Credit. Scored 1 goal for his class. Sure would have liked a different turnaround today. Different turnout from this.
Went to Lakehead University. And there's a look. Why not come down and enjoy what will be a semi-final game played here at Maple Leaf Gardens. 596-3075 will get you all the ticket information you need. Kaleb Toth ticking the clock down with 8 seconds remaining in the shot clock and 12 left in the game clock. A shot goes off, plays down. Corralled here by Darren Much. And they're getting a standing ovation here from Maple Leaf Gardens. Campbell will hold it. The game is over. The Toronto Rock, after a slow start in which they trailed 4-3 at the end of the first quarter, explode in the second quarter to lead 9-5 at the half, and then go on to a 17-8 thrashing of the Albany Attack. So it is a big win for the Rock, who will host the first game of the semifinals.
Molson Export Toronto Rock Lacrosse was brought to you by Molson Export Rock This, by Chevy Trucks, by Yamaha, and by Midas.
And welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens, where the Toronto Rock will end off their home schedule with a near-perfect record of 5-1. All eyes in Philadelphia tonight, where the Wings will entertain the Buffalo Bandits. A Philadelphia win and a chance for Toronto hosting the rest of the playoffs certainly will be good. Of course, we will be back here on the 22nd of April. Time to be announced. The Toronto Rock will once again entertain a playoff foe here as we look ahead to the second round. 17-8 our final score. Let's go to Darren Drager in Sports Central.